Michigan Jewish Democrats. Each one of those have a special meaning and a special responsibility. I think those of us who are Democrats, and I think that's all except for a few who maybe snuck in here to keep track of what we're doing. We know why we're Democrats. We have a special responsibility as Democrats this year to reverse what happened in Michigan. And it wasn't Democrats that voted for the president, but Michigan voted for the president. So we have a special responsibility as Democrats to pursue what we've always believed in, which is a society, a community which is governed by fairness, by equal opportunity, by diversity. It's a passion for Democrats. It always has been. As Michigan, obviously we have that responsibility to reverse the abomination which took place, to help reverse it in the last election. As Jews, we have a special responsibility too, and that's what I really want to focus on my few minutes today. We have to remember where we came from. And when people are told to return to where they came from by this president, he's saying something to everybody whose ancestors or who themselves came from somewhere else to seek this golden land. And that special responsibility started thousands of years ago when we were told to treat the stranger properly. Don't forget, we were once strangers in the land of Egypt. Ellis Island means everything to those of us whose ancestors came here, and should mean a lot to those of us who lost people who were refused entrance at Ellis Island. Whether it was Exodus or Ellis Island, there's a special meaning for Jews and for immigration. The attack on immigration and immigrants by this president is un-American. It violates everything that we fought for. We were taught in our fifth book of Moses, I hope there's no rabbis here, I think it's the fifth book, to pursue justice. And that's something which is ingrained in us as children and hopefully ingrained in us as Jews. Pursuit of justice. That means economic justice, it means racial justice, it means justice across the board. We have a president who supported a tax bill, for instance, that does great things for upper income folks, almost nothing for middle income folks whose income has been stagnant now for 20 years. That is not a just tax bill. We need justice in terms of racial policy, in terms of our policy on detention. We have people being detained now, right here in Detroit, who are here, quote, without proper papers, but who have been here for decades, working honestly, not being in trouble. Maybe 20 years ago they were, but have set down roots, have married, have American children, who are now the object of this president's venom. The president has uncorked a bottle of poisonous hate, and it will wash on us as Jews just the way it is washed on Muslims and washed on Arabs and washed on Mexicans. It's that concoction of hatred which this president has unleashed, which is, I believe, the greatest danger to this country and what we stand for. And we have got to not give up on any one of our co-religionists who maybe say they're for Trump. I don't know a lot of my co-religionists who are for Trump, but I know a few. I'm not going to give up on any of them. There's too many reasons that should appeal to us and impact us as Jews. When down in Charlottesville, a crowd talks about Jews will not replace us, and this president calls them such wonderful people down there in Charlottesville, that should threaten everybody here. Everybody should be impacted by that kind of anti-Semitic insensitivity at the best, behavior at the worst on the part of the President of the United States. So I want to end with just a story about my father-in-law and then turn it over to Gary Peters, I think. My wife Barbara's here. Her dad, who lived to be 101, came from the old country. Knew what it was like to be an American. And then he was a small business guy, didn't have enough money to pay an estate tax. But he left $10,000 for his Uncle Sam in his will. So if you know of any upper income people who are thinking about voting for this guy because he cut their taxes, the people whose taxes have been cut, for the most part, are upper income folks, some of whom are my best friends. But to vote for a racist, bigoted, bullying president who is the greatest, biggest liar who ever lived in the White House by far. To vote for him because he cut my taxes is not going to work, I hope, with people who have so much at stake. Just remember where we came from. Just remember where we came from. And I think we won't give up on anybody, any co-religionist who is still thinking about voting for Trump. Folks, thanks for being here. Thanks for being Michigan. Thanks for being Democrats. Thanks for being Jewish. And I'll turn the microphone and I hope the podium, because he's able to not only stand on his own 2 feet, but he's a great fighter for, when I retired and was introducing Gary Peters at rallies, the one thing I always would tell people is there's 20 reasons to vote for this guy. But I want to give you the most personal reason to vote for this guy, because I want to sleep at night. And when I retired, I just couldn't even imagine somebody who not only could do a fabulous job, but one-up me in many ways too. Gary Peters, a friend of working people, middle-income people, that's the Democratic part. A friend of our community, that's the Jewish part. And a friend of Michigan, perhaps one of those 3 words. I know it's one of the 3 words that you... And forgive me and Barbara for leaving, but we must.